Welcome to the Quiet Cabin Reader. Tonight's story is gentle and steady, created to help your body recognize that this time is yours and that nothing else needs your attention right now. Get comfortable, set your volume low, and let the cabin envelop you in warmth and safety. The cabin feels settled tonight. Not newly arranged, not carefully prepared, just settled in the way a place does when it has learned how to hold the night without effort. The fire burns low and even, its warmth reaching outward in a quiet, reliable way. It does not flicker dramatically or shift in brightness. It knows how to remain. The room is dim but not dark. Light rests softly against the walls, touching only what it needs to. Corners are left undisturbed, allowed their privacy. There is nothing here that needs managing. The chair near the hearth holds its place easily. It does not signal usefulness or demand. It simply exists, ready to receive whatever weight, whenever it is offered. The floor beneath you feels solid and dependable, carrying without strain whatever rests upon it. It does not creak or shift. It has learned how to be steady. This is a place where effort is unnecessary. And your body may begin to notice that now, not as a thought, but as a sensation, a small softening, a subtle release. Breathing lengthens on its own, no instruction required. Muscles begin to loosen where they have been holding without even realizing it. The cabin does not ask your body to relax. It creates the conditions where relaxation happens naturally. Outside, the night continues without urgency. Whatever movement exists beyond the walls does not reach inside. The cabin knows how to keep the world at a comfortable distance. Inside, everything feels accounted for. There is no unfinished task waiting quietly in the background, no expectation lingering in the air, no sense that something important has been forgotten. Everything that needs attention has already been handled. This time does not belong to responsibility. It belongs to rest. Everything that needs attending has already been handled. The fire gives a soft sound as a log settles and then returns to stillness. Warmth remains constant. The room feels confident in its ability to hold you without supervision. Your thoughts may still appear as thoughts often do. They arrive gently, without sharp edges. They do not need to be followed or solved. The cabin does not engage with what does not serve it, and neither do you need to. There is a growing sense here that nothing is being delayed by resting, that this pause is not indulgent or excessive. It is necessary. The kind of necessary that does not announce itself loudly, but supports everything else quietly. And your body understands this. It begins to settle more fully into the support beneath it, trusting that it does not need to stay alert to be safe. The air feels warm and still. It moves slowly, as though it has nowhere else to go. The night stretches outward, wide and forgiving, without asking you to participate in its movement. Everything here feels already handled, taken care of. There is nothing you need to hold on to right now. The night feels deeper now, not heavier, just more complete, as though the space itself has grown more confident in its stillness. The fire remains unchanged, its glow steady and low. It does not require attention or adjustment. It has learned how to carry itself through the night. And the cabin seems to trust this. The walls hold warmth evenly. The floor remains solid beneath you. The ceiling feels comfortably distant, allowing the room to breathe. Nothing presses inward. Nothing pulls you forward. Time moves differently here. It seems to stretch rather than advance, unfolding gently without dividing itself into any moments that need to be tracked. For there is no schedule inside the cabin, no measurement of progress, no sense that something should be happening next. Your body may notice a growing heaviness now, not the heaviness of exhaustion, but the grounded weight that comes when there is no longer a need to hold yourself upright. And this heaviness is actually supportive. It settles you where you are without pulling or pressure. Muscles release in small, quiet ways. The jaw softens, the shoulders lower. The face relaxes into a shape that does not need to communicate anything to anyone. There is no one here to see you. The cabin holds this privacy very carefully. If a thought about tomorrow appears, it does so without urgency. It drifts through the space and then fades away, reassured that it will be handled later. Everything important will still be there. Nothing needs to be carried forward into this moment. The night is not interested in productivity or improvement. It is interested in ease. You are not being evaluated here. You are not being measured or compared. You are not required to be anything other than what you already are. This is enough. The cabin understands this without explanation. It offers its quiet agreement by remaining steady and warm. by holding the night without interruption. The fire gives another small sound, barely noticeable, and then settles again. Warmth remains. The air feels thicker now in a comforting way, like the space has decided to rest downward rather than drift. And breathing continues without effort. Thoughts soften at the edges, losing their sharpness, no longer demanding attention. This is not something you have to encourage. It happens when vigilance is no longer required. The cabin remains awake in the quiet way safe places do, without watchfulness, without concern. You are free to drift as deeply as you like. Nothing will move without you. Nothing will be missed. Everything is already taken care of. And the night holds steady, not waiting, not advancing, just holding, as though it has all the time it needs. The fire continues its low, even glow, offering warmth without variation. It does not change its behavior as the hours pass. It remains dependable, constant, and unconcerned with what comes next. There is something deeply reassuring about that kind of presence. The cabin feels settled into itself now, confident in its ability to keep you safe without effort. Nothing inside this space needs to be adjusted or corrected. Everything has found its place. Your body may feel fully supported here, no longer needing to maintain shape or posture. The weight is carried easily by the floor, the chair, the space itself. There is no need to feel like you have to hold yourself together. You can rest into the support beneath you without explanation. There is no requirement to improve this moment. No expectation that you feel differently than you do. Whatever state you arrive in is already acceptable. The night does not ask you to relax more deeply. It allows exactly what is present. The mind may loosen further now, letting thoughts blur into one another, no longer distinct enough to follow. That is not something you need to notice or encourage. It happens when effort releases its grip. The cabin holds this softening quietly, without instruction or commentary. The fire remains low. The room stays warm. Time continues without urgency, no longer divided into past or future, just an extended period that does not require attention. There is a growing sense that you do not need to carry yourself any longer, that you can be held without justification, that you can take up space without explanation. The cabin offers this understanding without words. Nothing here needs to be earned. Nothing here needs to be proven. You are allowed to rest because rest is necessary, because rest is human, because rest supports everything else quietly, reliably, and dependably. The night agrees with this. It holds you gently, without condition. Breathing remains easy. The body settles into a deeper layer of stillness, and rest arrives quietly in its own time, without announcement, exactly when it is ready. And the night continues to keep you warm and safe, not moving forward, not asking anything, just remaining present in the way that feels most supportive. The fire has not changed. Its warmth remains even and reliable, spreading gently through the room without fluctuation. It does not need to be watched. It does not require attention. It has learned how to stay steady, exactly as it is. And the cabin seems to rest more deeply now, as though it has settled fully into its role. The walls hold the warmth without effort. The floor carries weight easily. The air remains calm and untroubled. Nothing inside this space needs adjustment. Your body may notice how little is being asked of it now. There is no need to hold posture or maintain awareness. Support is already present, and it does not waver. Breathing continues at its own pace, steady and unforced. Each breath arrives and leaves without instruction, without monitoring. There is nothing you need to do to encourage this. The night knows how to continue without your involvement. Thoughts may still pass through, but they arrive softened, no longer sharp or even distinct. They drift through the space and dissolve without requiring engagement. Nothing important needs to be decided right now. Everything that matters has been set aside safely. The cabin holds this pause with confidence. Time is no longer segmented. It stretches gently, no longer divided into moments that need to be filled or managed. There is no sense of falling behind or moving ahead. Where you are and how you feel is perfect. There is only remaining. The body may feel heavier now, settled into the support that does not shift. This weight is reassuring, grounding, and safe. It allows you to rest without effort. There is no requirement to relax more deeply than you already have. There is no expectation to reach a certain state. Whatever level of rest you arrive at is already sufficient. The night does not hurry you. It does not measure your progress. It remains available for as long as you need it. The fire continues its quiet presence. The room stays warm. The cabin remains steady and unchanged. There is a sense here that you do not need to carry yourself anymore, that you can allow the space around you to do that work for you. You are not being watched. You are not being evaluated. You are not required to hold yourself together. Everything you need is already in place. The night continues without interruption, offering the same reassurance again and again in different ways, allowing the body to trust that nothing will suddenly change. Rest does not need to be earned. Time does not need to be justified. You are allowed to take up this space for as long as you like. The cabin remains. The warmth remains. The safety remains. And the night continues to hold you gently, without condition, without expectation, exactly as you are. And the cabin now settles into its deeper quiet as the night continues, the way a lake settles after a stone has been dropped, returning to stillness without effort. The warmth in the room feels evenly distributed now, as if the air has decided to stay close to everything it touches. It rests against the edges of the chair, gathers softly near the floor, and rises just enough to keep your shoulders comfortable without even asking you to notice it. The fire holds its low glow with patience. There is a steady rhythm to it, a quiet sequence of soft light and gentler shadow. Like a slow breath the room takes for you. The sound it makes is minimal, a small settling, an occasional whisper of shifting wood, and then silence again. The kind of silence that feels full rather than empty. Somewhere nearby, a lamp casts a small pool of light, warm and honeyed, not bright enough to wake the mind, only enough to soften the room into shapes that feel familiar. The table beside the chair holds simple things. A book left open where it was last set down. A mug that still carries the faint warmth of whatever it held earlier. A folded blanket that feels heavy in just the right way. The kind of weight that reassures the body it can stop bracing. Outside the window, the night keeps its own quiet weather. If there is wind, it passes along the cabin gently, brushing the outer walls, the way a hand might smooth a curtain. If there is snow, it falls without urgency, each small drift finding a place to rest, collecting in corners of the world that do not need to be seen. The trees stand quietly, their branches holding stillness, as though they too have decided that this night belongs to rest. Inside, nothing needs to be checked. The door is closed, the room is warm, the fire is steady. The cabin is doing exactly what it is meant to do, and you do not need to supervise any of it. You can let that be true, even if you are used to being the one who remembers, the one who handles, the one who keeps things moving. Tonight, the cabin keeps things moving in the gentlest way by keeping them still. And your body can respond to that. It can let the muscles of the face soften as if expression is no longer required. It can let the shoulders settle down into their natural place. It can allow the hands to rest without holding onto anything. It can allow the breath to find its own rhythm, steady and unforced, arriving and leaving in a way that feels dependable. It is a quiet relief to realize that you do not have to earn this moment. You do not have to justify why you deserve it. This time exists because you exist, and that is enough. The night does not ask for proof. The cabin does not ask for performance. The fire does not ask for attention. Everything around you offers the same message through its steadiness. You are allowed to simply be. The room feels layered with comfort in small, tangible ways. The wooden floor holds its warmth longer than expected. The fabric of the chair feels familiar under your hands. The blanket's weight is consistent, reassuring in the way it stays where you place it. Even the air feels softened, as though it has been warmed slowly over hours and has decided it prefers to remain calm. There are tiny sounds that come and go without significance. A quiet settling of wood as the fire shifts slightly. A faint tick from a clock that is more like background reassurance than timekeeping. The softest movement of the house itself, as if the cabin is exhaling. None of it asks you to respond. None of it suggests you should become alert. It all belongs to the same steady atmosphere, the same gentle message of safety. If thoughts pass through, they do not need to be followed. They can drift like leaves across a stream, appearing briefly and then moving on, carried by a current you do not need to control. The mind can do what it does without turning into a project. At this time, it can soften, blur, and still, simply because the environment makes that easy. The window holds the night like a picture, dark glass with faint reflections of the room, The fire's small glow, the lamp's gentle light. Outside details are indistinct, which is exactly right. The room does not require clarity. It requires softness. The cabin seems designed for this, for letting the world become less defined, less demanding, less sharp at the edges. There is a special kind of dignity in resting. It is not something that needs to be argued for. It is part of being alive. It is part of taking care of what carries you. Your body has carried you through days that asked for a lot. It has done that faithfully, even when it was tired, even when it held tension that did not belong to it. Tonight, it is allowed to set some of that down, not as a reward, but as a natural return to balance. You are enough in this moment, exactly as you are. You do not need to fix yourself before you rest. You do not need to become someone else to deserve warmth and safety. You can simply settle into the steadiness that is already here and allow the night to do what it does best. It continues, it deepens, it holds you with warmth and safety, and rest arrives quietly, without announcement, as natural as the warmth in the room, as certain as the cabin's steady stillness.